This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by ShireSociety.com. More New Hampshire Liberty news, whether you need it or not. This may be another reason to exit the Union. The fact that we have to be in the same union with Massachusetts. Oh, by the way, this is September 27th, 2020. I'm reading this. News from the Union, from UnionLeader.com. Quote, Business Editor's Notebook. NH's tax battle with Massachusetts is getting a national stage. Last week, a liberal freshman congressman kicked off a webinar for a conservative think tank. He's running for re-election, and the think tank welcomes anyone who wants to talk about bad tax policy, like censored, sort of forbidden from reading the Union Leader. The next words that appear on the Union Leader are, quote, thank you for reading. Please log in or sign up for a new account and purchase a subscription to continue reading, unquote. Okay, no wonder these newspapers are failing. So I have no idea what even happened, except here it says there's a picture, and it says, quote, Interstate 93 is usually packed weekday mornings with commuters traveling south to work in Massachusetts, which continues to collect income tax payments from people employed by Bay State companies while they work from home in neighboring states, unquote. Okay, so that sounds like that's what it is. State income tax on people who are working in New Hampshire. So I guess that would still be a problem even if we were an independent country. Not an NH exit issue. Author there on that article you can't read or know much about is Mike Coate. In another article here, quote, officer says skateboarder threw rock at him. Again, that's on UnionLeader.com. Well, I'm amazed the skateboarder survived. Same paper also doing a little bit of watchdogging. Good on them. It says, quote, Fremont board may have violated law with closed-door meeting on candidates, unquote. Wow, look, I'm allowed to read it. Apparently they held a meeting interviewing candidates to try and fill a vacancy on the board, the school board, and the Union Leader article says, quote, the Fremont School Board may have violated the state's right to know law when it went behind closed doors at a meeting this week to discuss 3 candidates looking to fill a vacancy on the board. So the Union Leader is saying that under RSA 91:A, New Hampshire law, that they're only allowed to do hiring of public employees privately. Now, I think what they meant to say was, well, you can also, there's other things that they're allowed by law to do privately, like employee discipline, I think. So it looks like the former Attorney General did one useful thing while he was in office. Joe Foster, or Joseph, or whatever he goes by, had filed a memo in 2014 saying that you're not supposed to, that he said, quote, filling a vacancy of an elected official or appointed public office is an appointment and not a hiring, not the hiring of a public employee. Interviews and deliberation on filling a vacancy in an elected office must therefore occur in public session, unquote. That's the Attorney General in 2015 in New Hampshire. And I love this picture of the Fremont School Board. They look like such normal people. One of them has a baseball cap on and a beard down to his chest. He's wearing a t-shirt. That's New Hampshire. That's my New Hampshire politics. Of course, can you imagine that any of these people are ever going to be punished in any sort of significant manner for just breaking the law and hiding information from the public? Hiding a whole meeting or part of a meeting from the public? That'll be the day that bats fly out of Batman's butt. Oh, I had a thought about Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. I've been listening to Tone Vays, not super frequently, but some. He's like a Bitcoin maximalist guy, and he comes from, deep inside the financial services, deep state or whatever you want to call it. He was high up in some company you wouldn't want to admit to being high up in. I can't remember which one. If you're a libertarian, you wouldn't want to admit to it. But anyway, he can be a little bit boring to listen to sometimes because it's just Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. It's like there's nothing else. Well, What do I put my Bitcoin into, Tone? He never seems to have much of an answer for that. Well, he probably does, but I never hear it. Anyway, he seems to be against all, 9,000 of the other cryptocurrencies, or however, the top 9,000 other cryptocurrencies in existence. He seems to hate all of them. And he acts as though Bitcoin can do everything. And the truth is, I have heard him out very carefully, and I have taken his advice, and he was accurate in mid-2019 when he said, you'll see, roughly mid-2019, he said, I think that you'll see the Bitcoin bear market is over when Bitcoin starts going up, but the altcoins don't. And that is pretty much what happened a few months later. But he makes all these points that really bother me. They're like he's just missing something huge. And so, first of all, he's forgetting. It seems like he's forgetting that there's all these different things that Bitcoin can't do. I mean, it would be great if we had a Bitcoin that could do all these different things. Like it could do cheap transactions, it could scale, it could process a smart contract, but it really kind of can't. And to get it to the point where it can, I worry that we'll lose some of the good things about Bitcoin. Andreas Antonopoulos also says, the next Bitcoin is Bitcoin. But, again, as much as I trust him, I just don't see how one coin can do everything. And if you look at the history over the last 3 years, I see very little indication that it's getting better at doing any of these things. I mean, if they haven't solved the high fee problem after 3 years of high fees, or at least 3 years since the high fees started happening, then obviously that is something that needs to be handled through a different coin, a different crypto. To me, it seems like Ethereum or Ethereum's successor is the thing to use for smart contracts. Dash is the thing to use for low fees and fast transaction speeds and high levels of adoption, relatively speaking. In day-to-day usage, many of the other coins can fill those same functions. It seemed for a while like Monero was the thing to use for privacy. Maybe that's turning out to be false, since apparently the NSA is claiming to have hacked it or tracked it. Maybe Dash is better for that. I don't know. But again, you don't want to try to have one coin do everything. If it works, don't fix it. So I'm not angry that the Bitcoin fees are high. I just think, okay, then I shouldn't be using Bitcoin for any sort of day-to-day transactions. I use Dash for that if I'm going to do that. There needs to be diversity. I can't imagine anything that's a monopoly and is better off, and we're all better off because of it. Even gold is not a monopoly. It has competitors in gold, silver, and palladium. And I would like to see it gain additional competitors. And why isn't there an indium bullion? It's the right kind of metal to make a bullion out of, isn't it? The price is appropriate for that sort of thing. In all these fields, we need more, not less. More variety, more choice. Last time I tried to use Lightning Network in Bitcoin, it didn't work. And it all felt, what is this thing? It's all external, sort of. What do I do? Why can't this company just take Dash instead of Bitcoin? There is just absolutely a role for many, many of these other currencies. And there are so many things that I want a cryptocurrency to do that I'm not even sure such a currency exists yet. Or if it does, it's so obscure that it's impractical to use. For instance, why can't I buy a cryptocurrency that is pegged to the price of Hershey? Or if I can, why is it so difficult? Again, there is this, I think this is like the LCP token or something like that, where they're working on making this kind of thing happen. I don't know how far along they are. It seems a little too new for me to play with yet. And Tim Draper is always saying, well, why don't we have a currency yet that can handle the issue of identity? You know, when someone comes out with that, they're going to make a fortune. Where is that coin? And I'm always another thing that I want myself is, why isn't there? I guess there is finally now. It just finally came along, maybe in the last few months, or at least I just became aware of it last month. But there's a new token that is what is it called? Ample, or Ample Fourth. It is designed to be a stable coin that is not pegged to the dollar. Now, I've been wanting that for a long time, but it just now came about. There's absolutely a need in a market for something like that. Now, maybe Ample fails for some reason, unrelated to the basic concept, but if that happens, someone else will come along and do it better. You know, the way Ampleforth does it is they create they feed more coins into the system if the price goes up, I think. Oh no, if the price goes down, then the number of coins goes up. If the price goes up, then the number of coins goes down. So the number of coins that I think you have in your, I don't know how it works beyond that actually, but anyway, it keeps the price close to $1, or at least your holdings remain valued at about $1, even if the price goes up and down. So in effect, it is a relatively decentralized stable coin, as I understand it, which is not precisely pegged to the dollar. So it should be inflation resistant. Over the short term, it feels like it's always $1, but that should, again, this is so complicated because the price does change actually quite a bit, but the value of your holdings generally does not, so far. But my thing that I wanted a stable coin that was pegged to the price of a basket of stable things, right? Like, so it would be pegged to, a combination of gold, silver, platinum, copper, Bitcoin, and Swiss francs, maybe, which seem to be the most non-inflating fiat currency. So that should hold the value relatively stable. It might tend to go up because of the Bitcoin. But anyway, a token that is pegged to the price of a mix of all 7 of those things. Something like that. Maybe you could throw oil in. Maybe you could throw wheat in. I don't know. It should become very stable and not suffer inflation. Maybe this will be accomplished with Ample. But it would sure be nice to see it done my way. Anyway, I just think ToneVase is just too closed-minded to new projects. No, they can't do exactly what Bitcoin does. It's probably impossible to create another Bitcoin. Yes, most of the alts are shitcoins, and he seems to have a pretty good prediction track record, but there are just too many things to get done, and only one Bitcoin for all practical purposes. We got to get our mission accomplished through the other coins as well, not just Bitcoin. Can't wait around 5 years for them to be able to do something. Apples and oranges. All right, sometimes I like to go by the, being in New Hampshire, I like to go by the Black Lives Matter NH Facebook page and get a sense, or group or whatever, get a sense of the extent to which they are tilting authoritarian, or if they're staying true to the original mission here of fighting police abuse and standing up for actual human rights. So it was encouraging that I had to go down, I think four, maybe 5 posts before I even found someone complaining about free speech. And actually, to be fair, this is the kind of complaint that I probably would make. Not in this exact case, but so they're upset because the union leader, they are upset over this union leader headline. Quote, city ordered to rehire proven racist cop. Status uncertain. Proven racist is in quotes. So it's a post by Black Lives Matter NH linking to this article, and they say, quote, union leader, another shit headline. What exactly would we have to say or do for you to leave the coddling quotes out of this one? Unquote. So they're upset that the union leader quoted someone and put something in quotation marks. Okay, I don't think I can see myself getting upset about that. The other thing that's kind of disturbing is there's a response to that complaint by a Dan Billen, and he says, quote, "Those words are in quotation marks simply and appropriately because that's a direct quote. Putting such a damning quote in the headline is the opposite of coddling." Unquote. So and the Black Lives Matter NH replies, quote, "Oh, really? Where's the quote? Who said it? And how about you keep your condescending comments off our page? Thanks." Unquote. So again, this is what we want to be looking for as we examine society right now. We want to be looking for those warning signs of people losing their minds over what exactly? Quotation marks? Someone defending the use of quotation marks? Again, this is the big danger when you have a successful civil rights movement followed by 20, 30 years of speech, PC, politically correct speech codes, followed by that whole thing going even further in that direction. The result of moving a pendulum too far in any one direction in the United States is that you start getting unnecessary restrictions on freedom. But like I said, it was nice to see that I had to scroll down a ways to find something where our local BLM community was losing their minds over nothing in particular. Did that all make sense? Was that too complicated? We're looking for restrictions on speech. We're looking for grievances that are ridiculous and don't make any sense. Well, I did find one. By their grievances shall ye know them. But they have a right to say whatever they want on their page. As far as I'm concerned, they can come do it on my page too. In its general discussion. And yeah, that racist cop, what's going on with that? Why are they being forced to rehire him or whatever? Or at least pressured to rehire him? Yeah, they should fire all their cops. Nashua Telegraph is running a poll. Quote, "Do you think trick or treat should be canceled?" Unquote. OMG. I am living in a state of sheeple, and it's the least sheeply state in the world. The results of the poll, yes, trick or treat should be canceled, 56%. No, 31%, and my vote, 13%, let people decide for their own property. That only got 13%. There's no hope for humanity, is there? Holy God. All right, let's see. Well, one hopeful sign. Well, no, it's not hopeful, actually. I heard that the Nashua Telegraph was going to go to a weekly mode. It was like normally it's every day. It used to be every day. I don't know if it still is. But sure enough, there was some talk of the government intervening. Relatively serious, relatively official talk last I checked. Please, God, no. Government running a newspaper? How's that going to work? How cool is that going to be? Not. On the more positive side, I was checking nhcalendar.org, and it looks like, I'm getting the impression that most keen government meetings are now in-person meetings again. They've kind of, the whole doing every meeting on Zoom, I think that's starting to go away. It looked like, to me, about 80% of the meetings, as of today, September 27th, it looked like they were in person. Now, I'm going to have to check and make sure, but the way it looked on, it's not on nhcalendar.org, it was on the Keene City calendar, actually, the official Keene City calendar. And if you have not heard the news that Free Talk Live, the popular Keene, New Hampshire-based syndicated radio show, Free Talk Live has been banned from Discord, I guess, or they've been deplatformed. And, Discord won't say why exactly. It's like they just sent them a form letter by email or something. One thing I forgot to mention about that situation, which I believe deserves more attention than it's getting, is that just prior to the shutdown of the Discord server for Free Talk Live, one of their administrators or something reportedly went in and banned everyone from the Discord server. And apparently this happened right before the shutdown. So there may have been a connection there. Obviously the Free Talk Live folks know more than I do. But for those of you who are unwilling to listen to Free Talk Live for some reason, now you know a little bit about what's going on over there. ridleyreport.com is where you find these podcasts. But you can now also find me on BitChute and as previously, as usual, on Metacafe. Because how long will it be before I'm deplatformed too?
The old world is collapsing, and it's going to take its slave driver governments with it. But what will rise up in their place? In New Hampshire, the Shire Society has a plan, a thriving web forum, and a history of action.
It didn't take long to come up with a plan.
You can sign up right now at shiresociety.com.